going.
Hello, welcome.
Hello and welcome to our live feed. My name is Dennis Davis. I'm the Director of Safety at Prime Incorporated. With me, I have our IT guru, Brianne Madura, and she's going to help us answer some questions that we're going to field from you guys live as it pertains to our announcement that we are going forward with implementing the Netradyne technology in all of our trucks. This is both the inward facing and outward facing cameras. So we're looking forward to answering some questions. We know there's some good information going on out there. There's some bad information going on out there. And either way, we're here to answer the questions that you have. Uh, of course, one of the things that we always want you to do is hear from the leadership of the company. If you haven't already done so, are you interested, please go back and view our Friday morning safety meeting that we do every Friday morning from May 10th, and view, or just specifically go to YouTube and put in Prime Netradyne announcement, and you can hear directly from our CEO and founder, Mr. Robert Lowe, and our president, Daryl Hopkins, about some of the whys behind the what. All right, I'm ready to answer some questions.
Cool.
Hit us.
Okay. One of the main things that people were concerned about was privacy. How are we combating privacy with an inward-facing camera? This is their home. That's been a huge term. How are we as a company going to protect our drivers?
So I'll kind of start there, and kudos to Brianne. Her and I have been working kind of in tandem since the beginning of this pilot. Seems like almost a year ago at this point.
Just about.
And of course, as we've said publicly, we've said at our Friday morning meetings, we've said on podcasts that we didn't have any intention of having any inward-facing recording or anything where drivers can be seen. Okay. Our goal was to have some type of AI technology to be able to identify handheld devices, seatbelt usage, and distracted driving. As we went into that initial phase and started to see what the technology had available, I started to get that gut feeling that we really need this. But at that point, Brianne, remember, we didn't have any filter or anything at that point, so it didn't really make it a big deal. We stuck steadfast with what our ideology was, and as we kind of dwindled it down a little bit more, we got down to two that were able to provide their own brand of inward facing camera recording with a privacy filter that no other company in the industry, at least at that point, and probably at this point, had ever had for their trucks. And the initial, mindset was, oh, this is something that'll take 2 years to develop or something like that. But one of the things that we appreciate about Netradyne is they stepped up to the challenge and got it done a lot faster. And even after that, we still had some pauses and some cautions. But as we evaluated it and as I looked at it, I really couldn't convince myself why this wasn't a good idea. Of course, our drivers' privacy, what they do, whether or not driving, what any passenger, anybody in the bunk is doing, is none of our business. We're not interested in that. But when that became a non-issue, when the blurred video was secured, I couldn't convince myself that it wasn't a good idea. And I had to ask myself some basic questions. Does it make us safer? Does it make us better? The answers to those questions are yes. So, we kind of shifted our focus and started to get involved with that privacy. So at this point, we're proud to say that nobody's privacy is going to be compromised. And if you feel like your privacy is while you're driving down the road, then we'll have to agree to disagree. I think it's important for us and for you to be able to go back and watch or evaluate what you, the driver, or your trainee, or whatever the case may be, is doing behind the road, doing behind the wheel of the truck, so we can go back and coach and counsel and correct anything going wrong.
So I'm going to add a little bit to the privacy what we're talking about. We have 3 different kind of scenarios. So we have key off. So if the engine is off, the only camera that is recording is the outward facing. That's for things if you get hit in a parking lot. If you're, somewhere, truck is off, you want that external view. So that's number 1. So the second part is key on, in motion. So if your key is on and you're in motion above 5 miles per hour, then that inward is available, but it's only shoulder to shoulder of the person behind the steering wheel. So everything else is blurred. So you don't see anything in the passenger seat. You don't see the sleeper, any of those things. It's really shoulder to shoulder. And then if you are key on, but not in motion, the screen, the camera inward is 100% blurred. So if you're stopped somewhere waiting for loading, unloading, kind of, in process, but the truck is not in motion, there is no inward camera at all. So if you wanted to sit there while you were parked and get out your phone, find some directions, make a couple calls, whatever it would be with phone in hand, privacy when you're not in motion. So hopefully that gives you kind of a couple scenarios of where that privacy kicks in.
We've got one from YouTube here. Jeff Wilson wants to know, what order will the cameras be put in the trucks? Is it random order? Is there any sort of pattern to that?
I'm gonna take that one. We don't know yet. We're still working on it. Part of this is also we're trying out some new mobile comm systems. So if you haven't heard, we're also piloting a new mobile comm as a Qualcomm replacement. And so they would kind of go together. So there's a lot of other pieces that go with this. Right now we're in that pilot phase where we're really collecting a lot of data, and we don't have a clear defined pattern or methodology of which trucks will go first versus others at this exact moment.
I will add to that, if we do have folks with issues, folks that have been written up for handheld device or seatbelt, we will deploy the camera in them before they leave the terminal.
Okay, I've got another one on YouTube. Will the camera D system, and then will we get dinged for using trucker path while driving to find a truck stop?
If you have that phone in your hand, you will get dinged because it's illegal. You cannot be using your phone either in your hand, looking at it, or talking on it. Either of those motions are not legal. So yes, that would be. If you have it set up and you've already navigated to it and you have it kind of in your navigation going, then no. It's really in your hand, actively touching that device where it's not that one click kind of situation. I don't remember what the first question was, though.
Will the new camera system work with ELDs?
It does. And so that is how we know who's driving. It all functions through that new ELD. And we're not taking anybody's fingerprints. We're not doing any facial scans to identify any type of person that way. It's all through that ELD. It's who's on the drive line, and that's who gets attributed those videos. So if there's any questions or problems, that's where all that comes from, is straight from the ELD.
Can you kind of go deeper into the point system?
Sure, we can go deep into the point system. So the point system that they're referring to is called the Netradyne Green Zone. All right, and what it does is it analyzes every single minute of driving and gives a sliding scale of points, starting with a perfect score of 1,000 points per day, and for different driving maneuvers, following too close, maybe distracted driving, rolling a stop sign, failing to stop at a red light, anything like that. Of course, it deducts points for that, but also you have the opportunity to gain those points back or even earn extra points. So in theory, you can have a 1,050 point day being a perfect day of driving plus extra points. We call those green stars when for example, if there's a nun in the road with a baby and a puppy, and you have to slam on the brakes, triggering a hard brake, and with our current telematics, that's just a hard brake. No matter what it is, no matter what the situation, you had to jam on the brakes, that's going to be reflected as a hard brake. with the new technology, not only will that not be a ding on your score, that will be a reward situation where it gives you a green star and brings your score up a little bit. What the future holds for that green zone and those green stars are green dollars. My vision for the next phase of our safety bonus is for it to be data driven. Right now, the safety bonus is based on the fact that you didn't have an accident over the last 13 weeks. And that's important. That's great. I want it to be based on the fact not only did you not have an accident, but you've displayed habits that you are one of our best drivers in the fleet over that same time period.
So you can earn stars for things like moving over for an emergency vehicle in that right-hand lane, creating separation if somebody cuts in front of you. There's also some things called streaks. So if you get so many stop signs, if you've stopped at so many stop signs, if you've kept your following distance at a certain amount, if you've gone through a certain number of traffic lights and haven't had any yellow or red light running, that also can create different streaks. And so they're actually adding a few new ones, but there's a lot of options there, and those all contribute kind of to that overall driving score that you can kind of earn every day.
Will we be able to see, this is a question from Jonathan Vick on Facebook, will we be able to see the forward camera footage via either an app or web portal?
Yes. So there is an app that goes with it, and we're still kind of testing some stuff out, but you will be able to see every single video that's created. So any video that's captured, any events that are there, you get to see as well. So there is no secrets there. You get to see absolutely every one of them. And that's through Netradyne. That's not through us. So that's kind of, if they exist in the portal, you're going to get to see them.
Okay, what's the install process like? How long is it going to take? Is it going to take a couple days, 30 minutes?
No, the install process, right now, we're only doing it in Springfield, Missouri. We will expand that to the 3 big locations, Springfield, Salt Lake, and Pittston. Right now, I think it's taking about 45 minutes on a good day. Now, of course, that's start to finish. If there's a little bit of a backup, for example, 1 or 2 people in front of you, of course, that'll be longer, but start to finish, no longer than about 45 minutes to get the entire system installed. Now, again, like Brianne talked about earlier, that includes the Netradyne camera and the GeoTap tablet.
Yeah, so they do have to be paired together, because that's how we know who's driving, is through that new kind of ELD that we're piloting. So we want to make sure that, there's a little bit more that comes to it than just getting the camera. It's helping us in this pilot as we work on this new log system also.
Charles Smith on Facebook, he said, can you post examples of what the inward portion looks like? That is available on the Prime mobile app.
It is, and at tomorrow's safety meeting, I've actually been working on a presentation that I'm going to give some really good examples of all different types of kind of like key on, key off, in motion, not in motion, what all of those videos look like. So I'll have some good examples tomorrow on the Friday morning meeting, and then we'll get those posted as well.
Shameless plug there, huh?
It is. Check me out tomorrow morning.
Okay, how picky is Prime going to be if we vape or snack?
So normal human activity, which means eating, drinking, smoking, which we don't recommend that anybody smokes. You should quit because you add time onto your life. But smoking, scratching your face, scratching your beard. I'm a bearded one. Scratching your bald head if you don't have any hair, whatever the case may be. Those are normal human activities that will have no effect on the sensor. But let's say it does. Let's say you have a vape machine that's the exact same shape as an iPhone, and the system picks up on that. The beauty of it, this isn't being analyzed by somebody in India, and no offense to anybody in India or any companies that do that. These videos will be analyzed by your fleet manager, the same person that's your business partner that you talk to on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. That fleet manager can see that that's not a cell phone. It's a vape machine or a hairbrush or whatever the case may be, and make the necessary adjustments and delete the video.
Yeah, we mark those as false positives. They go back and we use all of those false positives to retrain the AI. So as different stuff kind of comes about, new phones come out all the time, all kinds of vape products and things like that. And as it gets enough videos to learn, it gets smarter and stops picking those up. So it's kind of a twofold process, but we mark those as false all the times if we come across them, and then they're gone forever. So
will these cameras help us get more freight?
In the long run, anything that makes us safer helps us get more freight. You know, it's no secret that we've had some challenges with our CSA scores. And I do feel like one of the top priorities in doing this project, both inward and outward facing, is compliance. When we operate in a arena, we don't get to make up the rules of the game. The rules of the game are what they are. We have to learn to play within it. And our peers have beat us to the punch on this. I'll use some specific examples of how peers in our CSA group, you know, and we'll use handheld devices. We typically get anywhere from about 2 to 5 per week. 5 would be a heavy week. Multiply that times 52. That's a whole bunch of handheld device write-ups. Our peers in that same group, when we talk to them, they get about 5 as well, but they get about 5 per year. So the numbers are vastly skewed. We've got a big uphill battle as it pertains to those CSA basics and compliance if we're not operating with the same equipment.
Okay. Can the dash cam, can you create an event? Like if you witness an accident or see something on the road?
yeah, it's super easy. There's buttons on the side of the camera, and if nothing else, that's a great way to flag just that period in time. And if we need to go back and pull more video, we can. I will say that I've already pulled 2 from parking lots and 1 from like as a witness for a different accident for the police, just to go and investigate those. Like 2, truck wasn't on, got to go back, find exactly who did the damage, you know, everything else, got all the information, and 1 as a witness to an accident. So really cool to be able to go back and do that and provide that kind of just extra piece of information.
You know, and this kind of goes along that same lines. This wasn't a situation where it was a manual. This is a situation where driver actually had an accident and the claimant made some false statements to insurance and police that were not consistent with what actually happened. And of course, we were able to go back and pull the video from that exact time and that exact location, and we've been able to successfully deny the claim. So that would have been a significant claim, but now it's 0. So
and I guess I will say also that, you know, we can go back and pull video for right about 4 days. So if it's been more, and if you can't hit the button, you're in a situation where, you know, it's not safe to touch that button. You just have to send us a message. We can go back and pull the video from that time, but we only get about 4 days. That's all that the cameras will hold. And so, you know, it's very important to be timely with that. So we can't go back 5 months and pull video. It's encrypted and it's stored on that camera for a very small amount of time. And if it's gone, it's gone. So it's important to report those very timely.
So before we get to the next question, Brianne, if you would kind of address when we do have a need to go back, we need to go back 3 days from now. What does it look like when you get to the point where it is in privacy mode and it kind of goes around, you know, that deal?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you were not in motion or those kind of things, there is absolutely no inward video. Like it is just a black solid box. Like it does not exist. And any time that we pull that video, that privacy, if it's an inward video, whatever it may be, that blurred portion is always there. There is no way to remove it. That is done like in transit. So there is no way that we can get any of that unblurred video. So if something happens in your passenger seat, something, you know, who knows what could possibly happen. But if you're stopped at a stoplight and somebody comes knocking on that window, whatever may happen, there's no way for us to go back and get that. So what is blurred is always blurred.
Clayton's tuned in here. He said that the questions can be a little tough to hear, so I'm going to try to talk louder. We've had several questions about cost. I know Daryl hit on that during the video a little bit, but can you talk about what the cost to the operator actually will be?
Sure. So Daryl stated, and he has emphatically stated, that we believe so much in this technology, and if done right, and it does what we say it is going to do, and if it does what Netradyne tells us it's going to do, um, the cost savings for both Prime and the individual operator, it's worth the Robert's investment. That there's no cost to any cameras that we're installing now, and all of the lease payments for the 2025 models have already been put in place, and they will not change. So no cost to the driver for any 23 or 24 models or any of the next year's model 25.
All right. Okay. This one's good. With the transition to the different ELD, will we lose the ability to crawl, like the 5 mile an hour under? Will we lose that, or will they continue to be able to do that and not start the clock?
They will continue because that is an FMCSA rule. So that is part of it. So under 5 miles an hour will not move you to the drive line. But as soon as drive line.
One of the major concerns on the survey that we sent out through the mobile app was the penalization of drivers, if they have an incident. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure I can. So we've always been a training company and a coaching company. One of the things you've probably never seen at Prime Incorporated, you've never seen a driver get written up or a driver issued a suspension or a fine or anything like that. That's just not the way we operate. We operate off of the mindset that we have a professional group of safety associates and a very professional group of fleet managers that provide coaching, they provide counseling, they provide resources to help drivers be successful. If a driver does forget to put on the seatbelt, now again, just a reminder that there's an in-cab audible alert that goes off before Prime gets any indication of what's going on. So if you wake up this morning, you get rolling, forget to get your seatbelt, go ahead.
Wait. So the pre-audible warning on the seatbelt is coming. It doesn't exist at this exact moment in time. It is kind of that one is just it creates that alert if you don't have it on once you reach a certain mile per hour threshold. Almost all of the other alerts do give that audible warning first before the video is captured.
We'll use cell phone as an example.
Cell phone. It gives you a chance. It gives you, I think 30 seconds to put that device down before the event is captured. So if you correct, no event is created. But there's just a couple ones that we're still working on with that pre-audible alert. But most of them do give you kind of a warning before anything is actually captured.
And after that, we will go through our same process that we go now. If you are written up for a handheld device or written up for a seatbelt, we'll bring you in. We'll have you take our PSC, Prime Safety Certified class. We'll get you some coaching with both your fleet manager and one of the safety supervisors.
But we really like those audible alerts. We like that it gives anybody a chance to correct whatever it may be. So just a couple of them don't have it right now, and we're working on those.
We have a question here from somebody who's a part of the test group. It says, when will we be able to get the Qualcomm taken out if we're in the test group?
Well, if you're in the test group, I'll let you know that you'll be the first ones to get that Qualcomm out when the time comes. So we're really hoping, we haven't set a firm deadline quite yet because we do have getting rid of the Qualcomm is quite a bit. That means that we're also testing new navigation. Because the navigation package that runs on those Omnitrax units is not something that's available on the tablet base that we're looking at now. It also is a couple of different items with some different weather packages and some other things. That means changing our scale and package as well. So got a lot of things kind of in motion that we're testing, but we're diligently working on getting all of that stuff tested. So if you are part of the test group, just a big shout out and a thank you. We are still looking for a couple more testers if you want to. We're almost filled up on testers, but we're kind of capping it at that 300 mark just so we can get all the data we need and some people who are really nice to work with and friendly and can help us as we come across. There is still some issues. It is definitely a pilot, but really like that feedback that we've gotten so far.
Behind the drivers, there's no bigger group than the log group and the safety group that want the Qualcomm to go away any faster.
How long of a video clip is it when an incident is triggered?
It is somewhere between 20 seconds and 1 minute. It depends on kind of the event. So different events have different lengths of capture, but most of them are recorded in 1 minute segments.
Will the video be time stamped and will it show speed?
Yes and yes.
And yes.
So those are all there. So it will show exact speed. The videos have the ECM data from the truck. It also has a display of the camera's GPS kind of coordinated speed, and it has a bunch of other information on there. So it's all included.
Following this.
Oh, and following, if it's a following distance one, it does have kind of measured following distance in front of you with all the vehicles with nice little boxes and following distance.
Another concern from the survey was just the theme of micromanagement. We run pretty lean at Prime, right? What do people have time to sit around and watch you drive all day?
So what we've really seen, and this is kind of it's a little bit of a generalization here, but I'm gonna be real honest, is so far in the month of May, we've generated just a little over 2,000 alerts. 1,000 of them have all been green stars. So all of those are our drivers doing the right thing at the right time. And then once after about a week of having it on the truck, there's almost no alerts generated. Most of the time, it's just maybe some bad habits somebody's picked up along the way, or just some little tiny things, and they get corrected, and we really just haven't seen it. So until we kind of get to scale, it'll be hard to determine. But so far, the drivers are doing really great.
I think I reported in staff that and the month is not quite over yet. So I think we're at day 23 for the month of May. Our green zone score as a group, so everybody that has the camera installed is 970. 970. Our goal fleet wide is to be like 825, 850 on a good day. So for that group, so shout out to that group that's testing it. These are some absolute superstars, and from day to day, a lot of them have really figured out the green stars and are boosting up their score. So I'm really looking forward to being fleet wide and being able to push the folks that write the checks and make the dollars happen to incorporate this into a service incentive for our drivers. I'm sorry, safety incentive for our drivers. So I think we're at the 30-minute time period, and they're kicking us out of this fabulous room. So thank you to anybody that watches. We probably didn't answer all of your questions, but as we've always said, we're always available. Tune in the next couple Friday mornings. We're having an educational series starting this week where Brianne is going to talk specifically about privacy in these Netradyne cameras. But as always, if you have questions, don't rely on folks that don't work here. Don't rely on folks at other companies. Come to the source. Get with your fleet manager. If your fleet manager doesn't have the answer, get with us in the safety department, and we'll do our best to get you the answers to the questions you may have. So
yeah,
thank you.
We got to do another live. We certainly will, to answer more questions. So appreciate everybody's feedback and look forward to it.